Hello everyone, welcome to my Japan travel vlog. We officially started the trip with a layover in LA and flew Japan Airlines to Osaka. Highly recommend Japan Airlines for overall comfort, food, and service, even in economy. Unfortunately, I did not film the airport and the train from Osaka to Kyoto because I needed my phone for a lot of steps, but ended the day with checking into our hotel in Kyoto pretty late at night. Today is day one in Kyoto. We just rode the subway to our breakfast spot and we're walking around the street right now. This was kind of a hole-in-the-wall spot that my sister found for a obanzai breakfast, which is a traditional Kyoto home-style breakfast. At least half of the ingredients are produced or processed in Kyoto, and all produce are seasonal. It was honestly a great way to start the day and our trip, and I would highly recommend, but remember to make a reservation beforehand. Our next stop after breakfast was Sannenzaka and Ninenzaka. This was probably one of my favorite areas in all of Kyoto. Lots of small shops, food, and tourists. The streets are right by a temple called Kiyomizu-dera, which was very picturesque in front of a mountain, and there were also great views of the city from the temple. This is Kiyomizu-dera. Imagine during autumn when all of these trees are red and orange. That'd be cool. And you can see like the whole city of Kyoto over there. Very cool. I've never even had persimmon before, so this will be interesting. It's really good. After walking around for a few hours, we were ready to get lunch, and we went to a spot called Honke Owariya, which is the oldest soba restaurant in Japan. Absolutely incredible to eat at a place with over 500 years of history, and still run by the 16th generation of the same family. We walked around Senso-ji Temple for a bit, and then we wanted to try a dessert shop that specializes in grilled dango, which is basically like mochi, but is made of rice flour instead of rice. We also got a matcha roll and a parfait combo. Desserts were pretty good, and I would recommend going here for the grilling experience. For dinner, we tried a place called Ramen Nishiki. It had a pretty creative menu with different sea bream broth ramens, but I had a headache during the evening and didn't have much of an appetite, so I didn't end up eating much of my ramen. But overall, watching the chef was a cool experience, and the ramen was pretty flavorful. The next morning was a little rainy, but our plan was to visit Nishiki Market as well as a scenic spot called Arashiyama. We were worried that the smaller shops in Nishiki Market would be cash only, so we went and found this convenient machine in our hotel where we could exchange US dollars into Japanese yen at a rate that honestly wasn't too bad. It turned out to be a good decision though, because a lot of places were actually cash only, and it's always helpful to carry around a bit of cash in local currency anyway. If I were to do this again, I probably wouldn't come here too early in the morning just because a lot of places weren't actually open yet. Also, maybe it's just my personal taste, but the meat like a crab stick or scallops weren't that good, especially the scallops. I actually really didn't like it, especially after hearing pretty high reviews for Japanese street food. I think this market is worth going to though for the experience of a market, and there were a few things that were good like this potato curry bun thing and other small desserts, but I wouldn't expect the food to be amazing. By the time we left the market, the weather cleared up and was so good. The blue skies as a backdrop made me feel like I was literally walking through a storybook. Our next stop was Arashiyama, which I was really excited about. It was around a 25 to 30 minute bus ride from the city center, and the weather in Arashiyama was absolutely crazy. At first it was nice, and then it suddenly became super windy and cold with rain, and after like 20 minutes it was back to being sunny. Maybe it was because we were near a mountain, but the weather was all over the place. There's basically one main street with lots of shops and restaurants. We were going to try a sushi restaurant that had amazing reviews, but it turned out to be closed, so we had to look for somewhere else. We still wanted sushi though, because we still haven't tried it in Japan yet, and found this place called Sushi Naritaya, which was tucked away from the main street that turned out to be phenomenal. There were cute decorations in the small restaurant, and the service was friendly. This was probably one of the best sushi I've ever had. Everything was very fresh, especially the yellowtail sashimi and eel. All of this was, I believe, around 50 to 60 US dollars, which is absolutely incredible. One of the most popular parts of Arashiyama is the bamboo forest. Walking through the forest felt very serene. I felt calm, and compared to the street with shops and restaurants, it felt like I was in a whole different world. Overall, I thought Arashiyama was one of my favorite areas so far. Being in a small village, being able to eat really fresh fish, and seeing the mountains and forests surrounding the village was just such a refreshing and surreal experience. A lot of thoughts went through my head though, like what would it feel like to actually live in an area like this? Do I just romanticize this way of life because it's different than mine? Or like what William Cronin said, maybe their dream of living on a farm or within nature is just a fantasy of people who never themselves had to work the land to make a living. I think there's so much to think about when we see other ways of life, and it naturally makes me reassess how I want to live mine. were starting to feel hungry after walking around a bit and found this donut shop that had really creative donuts. There was also this minimalistic vibe in the shop that I liked as well. I would highly recommend this place to rest and grab a bite to eat after walking around. For dinner, we just wanted to choose something nearby and ended up with sea bream rice maki. The donuts were actually quite filling, so I didn't enjoy the rice as much as I expected, and I think the flavor was pretty average as well. Today we headed to Tokyo by train, which takes just over 2 hours. Funny story, we actually got on the wrong train at first, but luckily it was going in the same direction. So we just got off at the next station and boarded the correct one. Also, pro tip, if you have a lot of large luggage, try getting the seat in the very back of the car like we did, because there's space behind the seat to store larger bags. Overall, the ride was comfortable, fast, and smooth. The view from the hotel room. After checking into our hotel, we had lunch at a nearby Indian restaurant called Devi Corner. The Indian waiter speaking fluent Japanese caught me off guard at first. Very flavorful, and it was a nice, comfortable meal after our train ride. Look how big the naan is. Oh my god. Quick stop at 7-Eleven to get some water. It actually looks really good. Wow. For dinner, my mom found this really highly rated sukiyaki and shabu shabu restaurant called Nabezo. Wait time was around 1 hour, but it was definitely worth it. The vegetables were super fresh, and we liked the all-you-can-eat wagyu, as well as the wide selection of self-serve dumplings and noodles. Hey everyone, so today is our first full day in Tokyo. Right now it's around 7 a.m. We have an early start today because we want to get breakfast at this place called Tsumugi, and it's apparently really good. It has a special 18-course breakfast, which we wanted to try, but we didn't have a reservation, and we heard that usually you'll need like a reservation 1 month in advance. And so we came here around 7:30 because it opens at 8 to wait in queue. Hopefully it's good. Heard good things, so excited. Today's gonna be basically a Ginza day, doing some shopping, looking around the Ginza area, and it'll be fun, yeah. The breakfast place is right by this temple, so that's a really nice view, and maybe we'll check it out after breakfast. Okay guys, I am not kidding when I say this, but this was probably the best meal in Japan so far, and that's saying a lot. Not only was this one of the most uniquely displayed meals, but everything was prepared perfectly, from the flavor to the pairing. Honestly, I couldn't say enough about it. Definitely check this out for yourself in Tokyo. So much good food on this floor. Wow. After breakfast, we went shopping in Ginza, and I have to say, this was my favorite floor in the mall. Literally pastry shop after pastry shop on the basement floor. It was jam-packed with people, but for good reason, because we did buy some to try on the rooftop terrace of the mall, and they were really good.
I love barley tea.
Everything looks so good. Honey cake, my absolute favorite. In the same mall, there's also an art aquarium museum. This was super cool, and I really enjoyed just walking around and looking at the display. By the time we finished the museum, it was almost evening, so we started to look for a place for dinner. Walking around the mall today was actually pretty tiring, so we wanted somewhere close to our hotel and chose a dumpling spot called Gyoza Mania by Shinagawa Station. The ambiance was cool, it felt like eating street food. The potato salad and fried dumplings were good. Not sure if they were worthy of a future visit, but it did the job today. We started our third day by exploring the Omotesando area and went to Higuma Donuts for breakfast. They're famous for their mascarpone donuts, and they were pretty good, very soft and fluffy. I would recommend it. In the area, there was a human-made and blue bottle collab, so we had to check it out. Right now we're in a greenhouse. There's lots of rare and endangered species that are native to Japan. Very cool that they're all here. It smells so good. Look at these furry ones. They're like spiky. Some kind of fruit here too. Wow. I'm surprised, do they all survive in like the same humidity? Like, or is this like climate control somehow? Wow. Some citrus tree. Wow. So much of this vacation revolves around food, but that's okay because that's how it should be. For lunch, we went to a place called Senso-ji with absolutely amazing set meals and onigiri rice balls. Highly recommend this place as well. The restaurant was really close to our next stop, which was Senso-ji Temple. This was another really crowded shopping street in front of the temple with lots of interesting things to look at. In Tokyo, there's a street called Kappabashi Kitchen Street that sells kitchen equipment and is popular for buying things like ceramics, utensils, and pots and pans. When we went, there weren't too many stores open, and there wasn't anything particular that I would buy that I felt I could only get in Japan. A whole street selling kitchen tools is a cool concept, but not sure if I would recommend it. For dinner, we went to Sanuki Udon Menki Ashima in the Shibuya area, and I really liked it. The udon was chewy, and portion sizes were good as well. Probably my favorite udon place I've ever tried, and the small shop is completely decorated with albums, toys, and posters. The one thing is, I believe this place was cash only, so make sure to have some with you. After dinner, we went to buy some cake.
Hey everyone, so today we are taking a day trip to Kamakura, which is a small coastal town on the south end of Tokyo, and it kind of reminds me of Newport in Rhode Island. It has like one main street with a lot of restaurants and shops, and there's also a beach and lots of temples nearby. Headed to lunch now.
Oxymoron is known for the Japanese curries. The Japanese keema curry is very popular, but I got the ethnic minced curry because there was a lot of cilantro, which I love. The taste was amazing. Highly recommend this place if you're in Kamakura. When we got back to Tokyo, we just wanted something simple, and we realized we haven't tried the McDonald's in Japan yet. So, here we are. The menu had some cool items like a teriyaki burger, double patty filet-o-fish, and clam chowder sauce. There are also these interesting fries called shake a potato, where you can add this garlicky, buttery seasoning onto the fries. After visiting Tokyo Tower, we tried Flipper's Pancake Restaurant, which had this really good fruit tea as well as souffle pancakes. Wow. And of course, since we're in Japan, we have to check out Fuji. I'm a big fan of their home essentials, and overall, I think items are slightly cheaper in Japan's Fuji. Near the Muji store, there was a sashimi bowl place that we really liked. The restaurant was really small, but the fish was super fresh, and I was really glad we were able to come here.
Back to the food hall. Oh my gosh.
And that's it for Japan trip. So grateful for the experience and had such a great time. Thank you for watching and see you guys in the next vlog.